Hi, Databricks community. In the previous video, I had discussed about preparation for the Databricks Data Engineer Associate exam. In the chapter 2, dealing with ELT using Apache Spark, I had covered few initial concepts. Today, let us continue from this point, which is regarding CTE as reference to the file. CTE basically stands for Common Table Expression, but don't get maybe right overwhelmed by looking at this expression. Think of it as kind of a temporary table that you may be creating. And whenever I say something as temporary, they have very limited scope. So that's what happens with respect to the temporary table that you create using this special words that you're seeing or the letters you're seeing, CT. Fine. So, what is it about creating CTE as reference to the file? I already have certain files in the volume. What is volume and how do you upload files onto the volume? I have discussed it in the previous video. Please do check it out. So here I have workspace catalog and the default database is there. In that I have the volume called transactions underscore source. There I have certain files. Let me say I'm referring to this good data underscore one.json. So how do I create temporary table out of this file reference? Fine. So for that, I could simply say create CTE. No, this is wrong, right? Unlike we generally go for creating table as create table, we don't have any standard clause to say create, to create the CTE as create CTE. The keyword that we should be using while creating the temporary tables, which have the technical term here as it is with keyword. Fine. So how does it look like? Let us build upon. First, let us write the statement which is familiar to us. So how do we refer to the content of the volume? We can bring here select star from and we can give the format of the file and within the backticks we provide for the path of the file, right? So we should create CTE referring to this content. That's nothing but a kind of temporary table that references to this content. So for that I have to write it here as with. Fine. The keyword I should be using here is the with, and let us say I will name it as file data CTE. Fine. This is the name I am giving to the CTE, the temporary table that I am creating as. Does this remind you of something? This should be reminding you of create table as select. Seat as we say. Create table as select. You should be remembering here. But as such, we are not creating the table here. It's kind of temporary virtual table that we have. It has very, very limited scope. What is the scope for the city is the query itself, right? You are supposed to write a query followed by this with clause. With file data CT as select star from so and so file you said. And now you would like to make reference to this content in the following query after this parenthesis. Right? So your cities are the query scoped kind of entities you are creating in Databricks SQL. We do have it across RDBMS as well. Okay, you can take a look. Fine. So here, what did we say? We created CTE, common table expression, as file data CTE. It's like a temporary table. So whatever query follows this with clause, you can refer to this, CTE that you created in it. I will simply say select star from, and usually what do we say? Select star from table, right? Table name we provide for. So instead of table name, it is a CTE name that you are providing here. Select star from that CTE name where amount greater than 100 I am saying. Fine. So it is executed. I'm running this in the notebook, but you can run it in the SQL editor as well over here. But before executing it, make sure that you are actually starting the SQL warehouse. All of this, I'm doing it from the Databricks free edition. So every one of you should be able to do it. In case you have not set up your Databricks free edition account, please do look out for my other videos present in the channel. There is one video on creating the Databricks free edition account, and followed by that how to get started your journey with the Databricks also. You do find ample good number of videos over there. Please do check them out. So this should be happening okay quickly actually, because what we are trying to do is connecting to the serverless computer and then execute our query. It took a while, maybe because we are in the free edition, but otherwise, right, SLAs are good when you are working with the enterprise grade solutions. Fine. So this is what your CTE, and with this, right, just we had one point over the Databricks associate exam guide saying creating CTE as reference to the file. So we are done with that. Fine. Later now, let us touch upon a few uh, important and easy, we could say, right, concepts like how do you work with counting certain kind of the things from the table. Okay, how do you count the number of rows present over there? How do you count number of products present over there? Number of employees present over there? Such kind of things. Let us see them. As you could observe here, a few things that Databricks wants to test is whether you are able to count the rows that include null values, that don't include null values, and likewise they would like to check whether you can find out whether there is a null value in a certain row or not, right? So counting the number of occurrences of such rows, right? So all those we can do so by using the countif and the count functions. So let us see how to work with them. So for my rest of the examples, I will be considering one employee related data set. So let me create one employee data table over here. Let me make some room. Let me close up on these, the navigation bar and all over here. So let me first put across here, create table if exists employee data, right? So this is the one we will be using. We will populate it with certain records as well. I hope you're taking a look at the columns that are present. Every employee will be having the ID, name, city, department, and salary. And let us insert such number of records onto it. Cool. Insert into employee data. How many records? Can't make it out. Just by looking at it, the number goes till 10. But then here you could see we are trying to bring in some duplicate rows and all. So maybe right, let us insert first and then we will go for counting the number of occurrences over there. Right? So Alice is there, Bob is there, Charlie is there, Frank is there, and so on. Right. So what is this table? Employee data. Let us get the number of records in it. So let's go for writing select, okay, count star from this employee data table that we have created. Thirteen records are there. Fine. So let us now against this table. What we did is count star, right? We did count star. Instead of that, we can put across here a given column and check, okay, how many number of maybe right cities are there, right? So city is one of our column, right? City. So let us put it and let us check. So instead of count star, let us make it as a city and let us re-execute it. Let us see if that is fine. It says 12. Why is that so? 13 records means 13 cities should have been there and it should have returned as a result. But if you look at carefully, for debit, the city is not mentioned. City is null. So when you say count star, it's going to include the null values as well, right? Instead, if you mention for the count the particular column name, it's going to ignore those fine null values. So that is the meaning there. And among these as well, if you would like to count the distinct cities present in this table, you should be using the distinct clause or the keyword before the column name. Select count distinct, it happens to be 8, right? So this is simple, but then, right, this is the expected skill for your associate level to programming with the Databricks. Fine. Likewise, you can check out working with the other columns and all. Let me put it together in one query, all these like this. Select count star as total rows, count ID as count ID not null, count city as count city not null, count salary as count salary not null. That is just executed. Check it out. Okay, 1 minute. So this is returning what we expected. Fine, the city not null is 12. Fine, and in other places we don't have null. Maybe for ID we don't have it as null, so it is 13. But for salary, it says 12. Seems like one of the employee has salary being null. This is a frank. So that's the case. Likewise, let us test it out with respect to the salary. What kind of distinct salaries the employees are receiving? So I could say for that, select count distinct salary from the employee data, which happens to be in this case what? Let us check. Eight distinct salaries are there. Well and good. But then what if I say something like this? Is it really different? What is it? That is all salary. Count all salary, I'll say. It says 12. Fine. What if I remove it? What if I say count salary? It is again 12. So what's the takeaway here? By default, when you say select count salary or count some column name, what it does is it's going to pick the number of occurrences of all valid values for that column. All is by default. So if you skip that all keyword also, it does count all the valid values for your column except the null values. So do not worry on it. Fine. So that's what I wanted to highlight over here. You can further extend working with the count. For example, you can write about maybe your conditions and all inside your count so that you are actually evaluating the occurrences of certain values. Take a look at this. Uh, I say here select count case when salary greater than 60,000, then one end. So your count function is taking case statement as the argument. Fine. So whenever salary is greater than 60,000, we will be emitting here the one value which count is going to accommodate for. Likewise, we are also generating one more column here, count case when city is null, then one. So how many null cities are there, right? How many people are there getting salary greater than 60,000? So that's what we are willing to calculate over here. And let's check what are we going to get. Seems like 7 of the employees, okay, out of 13 receiving salary being greater than 60,000. And there is one city whose value is null, right? So that's what we can achieve. So this case clause is something supported in Databricks SQL. So case when expression, then what should happen, right? Whether you would like to put literal value of 1 or something, right? Again, expression basically, right? And end. So this is the structure for your case statements in Databricks SQL. Fine. So whatever you did using the case, there is better way to do it. Okay, that is this way. Take a look and observe. Whatever we achieved earlier, right? Same could be achieved by saying select count salary, filter weight salary greater than 60,000. Coming from the SQL background, right? Most common use case for putting the predicate, the where clause is after from, right? Select so and so from table where filter condition we put at the end. But then assume that we are aiming to do multiple aggregations and each aggregation should happen based on a given filter condition, right? This is what the example is. I am willing to do here two kinds of aggregates, and those aggregates should happen based on filter condition. So for each aggregate, I am bringing in the predicate. So that's possible through the filter keyword. So count salary filter for only the salaries where it is greater than 60,000, right? As count salary greater than 60,000. Likewise, count star filter where city is null, right? So this is more of like a declarative thing and being widely used compared to the previous version. And this is more optimized, I could say, as per some of the documentations. Fine. It is the same result as the previous one. Well and good. So this is the use case of the count star, count column name, count certain aggregates based on the filter and so. Likewise, we have one more related counting function that is a countif. What is it? Countif. Take a look at this, and that's something that over here. Let me call upon the countif. What are we trying to check here? I'm taking one example pointing to one on the fly table. This is not referring to employee data as such. It is referring to the table that we created on the fly from by using one clause called from values. Okay, select countif, and this countif also takes one expression, okay, as the argument. Okay, so where's the table here? So this is a table. Okay, the table consists of these many rows: null row, the 0, 1, and column name of that is call, right? So on the fly, you are creating a table from the values. From values, null, 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, each row being represented within the parentheses, right? So within parentheses, a row is represented over here. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows, right? And each row has only one column, right? So from values as tab. So name of the table here is tab, and it has one column that is a COL column. Fine. So from this table that we created on the fly, we are checking for the values whose modulus of 2 is 0. Basically, we are checking for the numbers divisible by 2. Fine. So if I execute it, what should be the answer? 0 modulus 2 0 modulus 2 is 0, so 1. 1 modulus 2 is 1, so that's not going to be counted, correct? Yeah. So let us check. You try to. So it is 0, 2, 2. Comes out to be three values from this column that will meet this criteria. Likewise, we can test upon variation of this. Just add distinct keyword in front of this one tab. Let us say, what do you think the answer will be this time? Let us check upon. It says 1. It just says 1. True, right? So count if distinct uh, column percentile 2 equals 0. So that will be giving us a true or false sort, right? And if you look out for distinct true, right, it is just one, right? So always and always for this kind of expressions, if you put across distinct over there, you will be getting one as the answer, right? Okay, cool. Likewise, let us check with respect to our employee data, certain countif functions over here. What is that? Count if city equals to New York as count New York City. So we are going to check the number of employees from the New York City. We will also try to check the people with the null salary. We will try to check the number of people whose ID is greater than 5 and who belong to the department IT, right? Using the COUNTIF. Okay, so we got the answer. Which one is better? Okay, is COUNTIF better or this one better? Okay, shall we replace this count filter where clause with the COUNTIF? Will that be okay? Please try to answer it in the comment section. We will discuss it. Fine. So with that count related functionality we are done with. Next up, let us focus on how can we go about deduplicating the records from the table. Sometimes they may expect you to do, okay, in place deduplication. So deduplicate rows from the existing table or create a new table from the existing table while removing the duplicates. And what do you mean by the duplicate? It could be that the exact row is repeating itself, or sometimes it may happen that you are saying certain row to be duplicate based on values of specific columns. Okay, when we write city and address of the employee is repeating, you can say that is a duplicate record. So that is based on the specific columns also we can have. So let us address this deduplication part first, and then we will take up next ones. First over here, let us take look at the records of our table. So these are the ones that we have inserted. So what are the exact duplicates? This one, take a look. Allies New York sales 60,000. Again, same. Allies New York sales 60,000. So exact row duplication is there. Then we have Bob London marketing 75,000. Again, we have Bob London marketing 75,000. So these are exact row duplicates. So how shall we remove them? How shall we? We can make use of very simpler construct. That's nothing but distinct, isn't it? Okay. First, let us try to create a new table. Okay, while deduplicating the rows, then we will look at how can we go about doing the in-memory kind of, deduplication. Just a minute. Let me bring up that code for you. Yeah, you can try to build in parts. First, you check how can you go about fetching the unique rows. It is about select distinct star from the, it is employee data for us. So let us say select distinct star from employee data. Okay. So this gives you how many rows? 11 it is giving, because 13 were there. In that we are seeing that two are exact duplicates. So we are picking here distinct star. So 11 is coming. Here, this result you can create as a new table. So see it as syntax, you can use it here. Create table as select, see it as. Create table, deduplicated employee data full as select distinct star from employee data. So this way you can create a new table while deduplicating, while removing or deduplicating the rows. It says here cannot create the table or view default because it already exists. So you give a different name and that should be fine. Well and good. That should serve us. So how about deduplicating the rows from the existing table? Right? In place kind of the changes if you want to do. So what clause you may think is available in Databricks? It's kind of no override feature that is required for us, and we can do it using override. Insert override employee data. Select distinct star from employee data. So this is what you can try for deduplicate rows from an existing data table, right? Or the table. Fine. So it has overridden your employee data table. So we have overridden it. So now if you look at the count star, right, from your employee data, select. If you feel I'm going slow, feel free to increase speed of the video and watch it out. Fine. So now if I look at the count star as total rows from employee data, it is 11. It is deduplicated table that we have over there. Simple, right? Simple at this moment. Fine. What if there is requirement for deduplicating the rows based on specific columns, right? Here, one prerequisite we have to, understand when you are about to deduplicate based on the specific columns, there should be specific other columns in your table which can uniquely identify the row. For example, in case of our employee data, which rows can uniquely identify our records? Here, we don't have anything um, like that, okay, which can give us the uniqueness for our records. Coming from the RDBMS world, for a while, you can think, why not the employee ID? In Databricks, we don't have primary key concept. No, no, you are lying. We have seen it. We have come across in the documents. Primary key is there. Yes, okay, primary key is there, but it's not enforced. It's not enforced. Foreign key and primary keys are supported by Databricks, but they're not enforced. I have made video on this. Please look out in my channel. Fine. So now there should be way to identify the unique records. So that's why, what shall we do? Let me create, one more table with slight modification. This time I will be adding along with the ID one more field which is called as entry timestamp. Fine. Just a second, let me scroll it down and somewhere here let us create one more uh, table. Drop table if exists employee underscore data 2. Create table employee data 2 ID and entry timestamp. Okay. So basically to demonstrate upon the deduplication based on specific columns, I have taken this up. So let me execute it. I will also populate this table with certain number of records. Exact duplicates are also there. So these are the exact duplicates, but I'm also trying to duplicate them in terms of ID and the name. Okay. See here, these are exact, but this is just differing by ID and the name. Fine. So that's how we have it. Okay, fine. So what's the difference? Tokyo is a city, New York is a city over here. So city, right? Seems like Allies has moved to new city and new department, right? So that's the case here. Let us execute it and let us look out for the number of records. It is 16 in number. Fine. So now how do you go about deduplicating based on the specific field? 1 second. So first of all, let us see something like this. So what are we trying to do? Select ID comma entry timestamp count start. So I am considering employee ID together with the entry timestamp is going to uniquely, identify the records in the table, right? So I'm grouping by that ID and the entry timestamp. So what this actually gives me, as of now, it is a deduplicated table that we have. If you look at Alias is having the employee ID of 1, right? Uh, this combination gives us 3 records. Likewise, employee ID 2 who happens to be Bob. Okay, Bob, I believe, yes. So that is repeating twice, so we are getting it. So now this is what we have to get rid of, right? So exact exact duplicate should also be dropped, and also the duplicate based on the specific columns also we should avoid. Right? So first of all, you already know how to get rid of the what do we say, the exact duplicates. So I will do insert overwrite over here, so that I will be removing the exact duplicates first. Insert override employee data 2, select distinct start from employee data 2. We'll do it. And once that is done, let's again try out our previous query. Fine. You could see after insert override, we have 13. Earlier 16 records. Now this time we have 13 records. Let us go for this select start based on grouping of the ID and entry timestamp, because ID and entry timestamp together make the record unique. So with that, you could see we have only issue with the alias. We have issue with the alias only, wherein he has moved to the new city and the new, I could say, right, the department. So one of these we have to return, right? So alias New York versus alias Boston marketing. One of these we are supposed to return. So ID is same, and over here the entry timestamp also it is the same, because we are thinking this to be the unique identifier. So which one of these we are going to return, right? Some logic you have to bring in over here. Some logic you have to bring in over here. I will bring in one logic that may not be okay suitable for your application. What is that? Let us see it here. Okay, I'm going to overwrite my employee data to pick whatever logic makes sense to you, and then excuse execute it. What I'm trying to do here is somehow I have to get rid of one of the record present over there. So one thing I am doing for is picking the max out of the two, right? So this is just the hack to bring the columns into my select clause after the grouping. Fine. I'm grouping by the ID and the entry timestamp. Even after grouping by the ID and the entry timestamp, I would like to get other columns also in the select clause. So this is basic SQL. So if you want to refresh on this, please do visit some maybe right reliable Google source, and you find it out what's the relation in this select class and the group by. Fine. So wherever the maximum number of letters are there in the name and the city and the department, that one I'm picking. And maybe right, I'm picking the record where Alice is actually having the more salary, right? So that one I'm picking. So that way you pick the logic that may make sense to you and you deduplicate it. okay, on the specific columns. Fine. So with that, now you could see we have just only 12 records. So this is the way you go about deduplicating the records. Next up, let us discuss the related, the uh, features. So that's about how do you check whether a primary key is unique across the rows or not. For sure, when you are creating the table in Databricks, you can say or you can designate some column to be primary key, but it is not enforced by the Databricks. So whenever you are making the assumption of something to be primary key, it is your responsibility to validate actually whether that primary key is having unique rows, okay, unique values across the rows or not. So for that, what kind of check you can do? So that's what. So how do you check whether a primary key is unique across all rows or not? For example, in our case, for a while, consider that ID is the unique. Okay, ID is the primary key. So how do you ensure that this ID is not duplicated? Right. So for that, you can try to group the employees by the ID, and after grouping, you should get that. Okay, in every group there is only one employee, right? So select ID, comma count star as row count. Row count should be one everywhere, right? So what happened here? I'm trying to pick the employees, okay, whose row count is greater than one. In our case, we don't have any. We have deduplicated. We have deduplicated, and on specific column also we thoroughly removed the duplicate. So now we have the table wherein employee ID is actually unique, right? That's why we didn't get any result over here. If you think ID is primary key and after writing this logic, if you get some count over here, obviously it's clear that that employee ID is not unique across the rows and you have to fix it. So that is one check. So likewise, okay, there may be okay a foreign key check kind or some other checks you may have to do. For example, validate that field is associated with just one unique value in the another field. For example, an employee should belong to only one department. So how do you check about for that kind of one-to-one mapping? So again, so for example, here it is a department, right? Each of the employees should belong to one department. That's why you group by the ID itself, ID of the employee, and but then count for the number of distinct departments listed against that ID, right? So as of this employee data, if I execute it, seems like we have no issue, right? To better understand what you can do is you can drop this employee data to table and recreate it and run this two logics, primary key and this association of the field with another field logic again, and you should see some values there. And after deduplication and fixing, and they will be having no values, right? So this way you can build upon your queries. Likewise, there can be some requirement to check whether something is present in that column or not. Validate that a value uh, is not present in the specific field. For example, we would like to check that there is no department called confidential in the employee data. So there are 10 departments whose departments are not equals to confidential. Well, this is not about validating. So here count is coming means we don't have uh, any department like confidential, right? Okay. So this is a simple SQL logic. So I will stop it here, and in the next recording, we will look at a few more concepts like extracting the or working with the timestamps and these JSON structures, structs. So all these, I think, over the next video clip. All these concepts should be covered. With that, chapter 2 for your associate exam will be completed. Thanks a lot for all your support. Please do like, share, and subscribe to the content if you really find it helpful. Thanks a lot. Stay tuned.